Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the 3-0 Take, where we talk all things Major League Baseball. Here's Kyle Corwin and Nate Reyes. It all starts right now.
Oh, welcome back to the 3-0 Take, presented by Chinook Seedery. This is episode 581. I'll be your host, Kyle Corwin. I'm here with my co-host, Nate Reyes. Nate.
Good Lord, Casey. How are we, dude? Didn't even have a dog in the hunt, but man, I was nervous.
To take
I was
a lot.
nervous for a while.
I think, who was it? Joe Davis at the end of the game. I think I had 3 heart attacks,
Dude.
during that thing. That was okay. Let's go ahead and check the boxes here. One of the best World Series you'll ever see.
Yeah.
One of the best Game 7s you'll ever see.
Yeah.
And quite frankly, I think just one of the best games you're ever going to see.
Yeah.
That game had everything.
Yeah.
That game had great defense, clutch ABs, small ball, the coolest under pressure moments, the greatest of pressures, one would argue.
Yeah. I mean, you had you had 3-2 counts. You had balls just off the black, not getting called. You had bang plays, forces at home. You got guys crashing into each other. I mean, early in the game, diving catches. Like you had extra base hits. You had home runs. You had insane.
Here's something that I'm just now thinking of. How many starting pitchers were featured in this game? We had, for Toronto, we had Max Scherzer, Chris Bassett, Trey Savage, Shane Bieber all go. We had Shohei Ohtani, Tyler Glasnow, Blake Snell, Yamamoto. 8 starting pitchers in Game 7. That is the definition of an all hands on deck.
That's the definition of a Game 7, dude. That was just impeccable. What a great World Series.
One of the best World Series I think we're going to see in our lifetime. And
Yeah.
I wanted to say this closer to the top because I know that we may have some hate listens from people that just can't stand the Dodgers. Let me try to hopefully put this into perspective for you. I need the people that hate the Dodgers to take off their Dodger hate hats for just a second.
Sure.
And understand that it's okay to set aside your hatred for the Dodgers and understand that we just witnessed a downright classic of a World Series. And specifically with Game 7, that was frankly the last thing that I was thinking about was how much money the Dodgers have spent. I was simply locked into a Game 7 of one of the best World Series that we've seen, one of the best we've seen in our lifetime, featuring 2 very good teams that were not willing to give an inch. And that's part of the reason, if not the entire reason, we saw this thing go into extras. I mean, you could not have asked for a better finish to this series. This was unbelievable.
It's excellent, man. It's excellent. Had everything. Where do we start? Where do you want to? I mean,
this game. Well, here's the thing. This game was
Game
so
6 too, because there's some
That's what I'm
controversy in
saying.
Game 6. You know, it's controversy as to why we're here. There's probably some upset Blue Jays fans that feel like they probably shouldn't have even been a Game 7. So
that's what's so crazy about this Game 7 is it was so good that Game 6. I mean, it frankly wouldn't have mattered how Game 7 would have gone because then at that point you're just talking about who wins it, and Game 6 is sort of an afterthought anyway. But because of how just downright incredible the Game 7 was, it truly feels like an afterthought now. Maybe not so much for Blue Jays fans because maybe now they're looking at Game 6 a little more closely under the microscope, going, that was maybe a missed opportunity. There was a handful of missed opportunities for the Blue Jays.
I agree.
I don't think we're talking about the fact Blue Jays fans certainly are, but the Blue Jays were 2 inches away from winning the World Series. 2 inches.
Mm-hmm.
A split second away from winning the World Series. Not to rub salt in the wound, but
that hurts.
Missed opportunities.
I don't know. First off, I'm going to address our group chat real quick because I don't remember getting that much support after the Yankees lost last year from all of our friends in the group chat. Ton of support to our guy Micah, but I don't remember getting any love after we got embarrassed. But whatever.
I mean, Blue Jays fans are getting therapy appointments set up, mental health checks.
I don't think I got any of that.
Poor Nate. Because nobody cares about the Yankees.
Nobody, dude. Anyway, moving on. Happy for
this. No. Stop. This is that classic meme where it's the guy looking himself in the mirror and he says, "This has nothing to do with you, but you get in there and make it about you." Typical Yankee fan.
That's what we got to do, baby. That's what we got to do.
No, I'm just kidding. Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what's worse. Like your biggest fear of your team coming true on the biggest stage, or being so close to hoisting the first trophy in 30 plus years. Like I don't know what's worse. This was such an evenly matched World Series. I know you mentioned there was a lot of opportunities missed. Yeah, I mean, you could argue that for both sides.
Sure.
I think, you know, like obviously a ton of runners left on base. Historic World Series. So many different narratives, so many different storylines. I mean, I guess if you want to kind of break it down a little bit, I mean, going back to Game 6, like, you know, all these comments and videos about like the quotes that Mookie had of him being down in the dumps and like just reflecting of like how poorly he's played, for him to have, you know, a clutch AB and a clutch knock and drive in some runs. It's like, you have that. You have, you know, Andy Pages, who has been horrendous offensively, making an insane. I don't think Kike had that ball tonight. That looked like he was in the worst position possible to make that play on the track. So for Pages to come in and just lay him out to make that play, I'm like, good for you, Andy, because Kike was not on that. I'm sorry.
Meredith, well-known non-162 girl.
Yeah.
Even she looked at me and she goes, he would have been backwards trying to catch that ball. What was he doing? I'm like, hard to say.
Worst possible position to get in. But you have that storyline, right? I mean, you have just one of the greatest postseason performances in Vladdy. You have a storyline of Bo Bichette missing 2 full months and hitting a massive home run to start off Game 7. I mean, there was just everything in this World Series. You had 2 games. We had an extra game. This was Game 8. Like you have a starter in Yamamoto who just won an MVP, and I called that, by the way.
Oh no, we're gonna get into it.
For him to come back, like there's just so many storylines and just excellent overall. 10 out of 10, A+, and shame on the people saying it was scripted in our comments, by the way. You can't script
our guy
baseball. That's the beauty of our game.
Friend of the pod, Dallas Braden. He said it. I saw something. I think it was today. People talking about, well, of course it's going to Game 7. It's everything's scripted for the Dodgers. To his point, he said it perfectly. He said, you still have to be able to execute the script. And that's the beauty of this game. We talk about it with the All-Star game as an example, where it's like, that's why the All-Star game is still so great, because unlike the NBA where you can just Cadillac it, lollygag, and put up 300 points, in baseball, you can't really take the foot off the pedal. You still have to be able to hit 95 plus in an all-star game. You still have to be able to play great defense, make smart base running decisions. And that's like if you want to believe that there's some element of this that's scripted, go ahead, but understand that the people making those decisions
under the left center fence,
understand that the people making the scripts can only take it so far.
Yeah,
the guys
believe it.
on the field have to be able to execute it. Okay,
it's insane.
So just put that aside. Yeah. But you mentioned the ball. I feel like we'd be remiss if we didn't mention it. What are your thoughts? Because I feel like I have my thoughts. I would venture to say we're probably aligned here. But this was a very contentious moment in games, understandably so, but very polarizing. You had people on the furthest ends of the spectrum arguing about how this play should have been handled.
If I was on the Blue Jays side of it, I'd be fairly salty about it. But the reality is it's the rule. That's the rule. Could he have gotten down and snagged it and probably lost no time at all? Maybe, probably, because he did. After it was called dead, he just went down and grabbed it. However, on the other side, if he does try to grab that and he struggles with it, it's not called dead. The second you make that attempt and you're fighting for it, if you got to lift the fence to be able to pull that thing out, then it is live. He made the right call. We're taught that at the youngest of ages. I mean, because, you grew up playing under crazy, weird fences and chain link fences and, uneven fields. It's just what happens. Balls sneak under the fence or they get wedged. And so you kind of grow up getting used to having to do that. It's crazy to see it on the biggest stage at the biggest moment. And I do feel for the Blue Jays fans, because for those who maybe didn't get to see the play, that's a guy on first. He's 1,000% scoring on that. He was absolutely scoring on that, and was likely going to push a triple, maybe. But at the very least, it's an easy double, and we got tie game at that point, right? So I get it. I feel for him, but that's the rule. The rule's the rule. I mean, it got stuck. Hands go up, and that's how it is. I was trying to think of, I don't know why there's this play from a long time ago that's stuck in my head. I want to say it was the Marlins, the old Florida Marlins. And I think a ball got stuck, and I want to say it was Gary Sheffield, but I don't know why I want to. But I feel like it was Gary Sheffield putting his arms up. Umpire comes out and just easily grabs it, easily proves that it's not. I don't know how that call got changed. I don't know if it was awarded one.
I saw that clip. I saw that clip today. Yeah, I know what you're talking about. I don't know if I don't think it was Sheffield.
It's like a 30-year-old play. I don't remember the result of it, but it makes you wonder, if they would have spent a little more time on it, if we could have just, maybe there's a new rule that ball gets wedged, outfielder puts his arms up, and it can't be touched until it's maybe investigated by the umpires, let's call it dead on that spot. And then let's just use common sense from that point. You have replay abilities. You can see that, okay, is this guy, because at that point he was either a step from third base or maybe even past third base. And I think at common sense, you can say, okay, this ball's not that wedged. I can grab it easily. He passed third base. Let's just award him the run. You know what I mean? I wonder if there's going to be some rule change to it. Because It's not a pretty rule. It's an ugly rule. And we have a weird game where there's quirks and unique fences and stadiums and fields and just weird things like that just sometimes come into play. And it sucks. I hope it doesn't. I mean, it makes you wonder if it's going to go down as like the A-Rod home run in 2009 against the Phillies, like hitting off the camera or not. Like, it makes you wonder if it's going to be remembered that way. But I don't know. How do you feel? I'm assuming you agree. Like, it's the rule, right?
It's the rule. It was the smart decision. It was the right decision.
Yeah.
And if you're going back for that ball and you see it get lodged, and in that split second, it even remotely has the appearance of being lodged, your brain immediately has to tell you, put your hands up. Because like you said, you're taught that from the youngest of ages.
Yeah.
And so you do not want to risk going down there because, yeah, it's easy for us like armchair coaches to sit there and be like, a ball's not lodged after we've watched the replay a dozen times and can slow it down in slow motion. Yeah. In that very moment, you don't know until he actually goes over and picks it up and is like, okay, maybe it wasn't as bad as it looked, but it had the appearance of being lodged. The padding was indented. You don't run the risk of getting down there and having to fight the wall.
No, he did the right thing.
For any amount of time. He did the right thing, and that's just the rule.
If he is struggling with it, the second he's fighting for it, it's no longer called dead.
You can't undo it.
The play continues. So if he continues to fight for it and struggle, that guy's just going. So he did the right thing. Anyway. Tough.
Just an added layer to this series, man.
It had everything. It legitimately had everything.
Unreal. And then we haven't even mentioned the ending of Game 6. I mean,
right.
Like I feel like I've said this multiple times this series. Not hyperbole. Just like this has been one of the best World Series. The ending to Game 6 was so gut-wrenching. There's so many gut-wrenching moments in this series, I feel like.
Yeah.
And I just didn't even want to see it end, quite honestly. Like I put out the tweet earlier tonight where I was like, let's go 18 again. And
yeah,
granted, I didn't want to have to stay up till 3 a.m, but like just for the quality of baseball we were seeing, the moments that we were seeing develop, the narratives that we were seeing continue, for all of those reasons, I wanted this series, this game to continue on and on and on. But the ending of Game 6, just a tough break. Like you gotta know that you gotta freeze there. I don't know. I feel like I have to walk a tight line because there's so many plays we've seen, even just this postseason, where I'm like, it's easy for us to sit there and be like, well, you got to know to do this. You got to be able to execute.
Yeah.
But, in that moment, you just got to, at the very least, freeze. Even if you don't go back, you got to freeze to give yourself a chance to get back.
Who was on second?
Barger.
You got to know that you're not scoring on that. It's a one hop. At best case scenario, it's a one hop. You're not scoring on it. It was tough, man. And I think that's what just. I'm not trying to nerd out in any way. It's just like our game is just insane, dude. Because like you talk about Kike making a season-saving, championship-saving catch and play, and a very athletic play to just on the run too make that throw to second
to Miguel Rojas, who had
a crazy tweener hop.
I mean, have a couple games, Miguel Rojas. My goodness,
it's just like another narrative, another story. It's just storylines all over the place, but. And then the very next game, you're like, I think Kike got bailed out, right? Like we already talked about it. It's just insanity, man. Insanity. But yeah, it's not to the extent of what we saw, like poor baseball being played by the Yankees last year at all. I don't think the Blue Jays played bad baseball at all. That's just a bad moment. But we've talked about it for months now, dude, and basically the entire season. Like the fundamental aspect of the game, like that's genuinely what it comes down to, is making the fundamental plays. And I don't know why it's just so evident on the bases specifically. So evident. Just and catching, you know what I mean? But it comes down to base running, whether extra 90 is given or extra 90 isn't taken advantage of because of bad base running, or it. I'm never did I play at that level. Never will I. Never have I never coach at that level. But like, I think you and I played the game long enough to where like base running drills are just, it's ingrained in you. I could go to first base right now and I could walk through my lead. I could walk through my secondary. I could go first to third on a base hit. Like it's just the way that it's ingrained in you and taught. And again, like I'm not on the big league level. I'm not saying that. It's just becoming more and more evident. And I'm not calling out the Blue Jays entirely here because it is baseball wide. And you see it on the biggest stage. And it's not okay. And that can be the difference. It was the difference. We're not just saying this because we're being grumpy old men. It's like the reality is that does make the difference between winning and losing these games. And you saw two of the closest matched teams that I've seen in recent memory where that does play a factor. That's what it does come down to. Something so minute like that. And it needs to be better. It needs to be taught. It needs to be ingrained more. And I don't know. I mean, we could go down that path forever and just talk about how I think baseball has just turned into rushing athleticism and not rushing up the disciplined
Development.
and the correct development. You know, it's just athleticism will take over. Athleticism will get us through it. We're okay with 200 strikeouts because athletically he's incredible. We're okay with 25 errors at shortstop because athletically he's incredible. It's like, no, like, let's get the fundamentals down. Anyway, rant over.
Coach Nate.
Yeah. Once it's in you, guy, it's hard to.
I get it. It's not a knock. I like having the analytical eye, because honestly, once I got out of the game from a playing perspective, I feel like I lost that, and I've become more of a fan. But it's good to have that.
It's such
overly
an important,
analytical eye.
Such an important aspect. It's such an important and like if you're maybe you're a new fan and you're watching us or listening to us for the first time, and maybe you're just got caught up and swept up in this postseason because it's been great, and maybe you want to start paying deeper, more attention into our game. But that's kind of that like next level of what you look for, right? And start looking into what makes our game insane. It's not just, ball and a stick. There's so much to it that needs to be paid attention to. And that's the stuff that gets me upset. I'm not gonna be the guy that says, "Why are you swinging at that slider in the dirt?" Because you're probably trying to gear up for 98 on your hands. You know what I mean? Like that's a different aspect to it. It's the little stuff that can and should be done the right way that doesn't take a lot of skill set. And a proper secondary in a tweener line drive to left field with a guy in front of you.
Well, that's game 6. You mentioned new fans. Maybe catching all of what's been going on for the first time, or they're being introduced to this game. Talk about a time to be introduced to this game.
Fantastic.
I mean, you've got people. In fact, I had people texting me that I know aren't real baseball watchers telling me like, OMG,
Yeah.
can't believe that just happened. This is unbelievable, so on and so forth throughout the entire evening.
Yeah.
And then I saw earlier where, Caitlin Clark, of all people, is tweeting out, this is the best baseball game I've ever seen. Like people that you just got to assume aren't, 162 people are tuning into this, and they're blessed with Game 7 that we saw tonight. And I know I feel like I'm repeating myself at this point, but this was just such an incredible game. Like going back to your point about narratives and storylines, there was so much packed into one game that made this game as great as it was. I mean, you can talk about getting a vintage Max Scherzer start. Again, 100%. Honestly, a start
that needs to be talked about.
I mean, you don't really know what you're going to get from him at this age, at this stage of his career. I know he's had some bright moments this year, but in a Game 7, going up against Shohei Ohtani, another narrative, another storyline here, like the game's greatest player getting the ball to start Game 7 of the World Series. The Bo Bichette homer, Trey Savage talking about calling something. What did I say? I said in his last start he was going to pitch. I think it was pitch into the 7th, and then you're going to see him in relief in Game 7. We saw him in relief in Game 7. Yoshinobu Yamamoto. Well, he deserves his own segment.
We'll spend some time on that.
I'll keep the list moving, but my goodness, what a series. The Miguel Rojas homer, the Max Muncy homer, the Miguel Rojas play at the plate where he almost fell over and the series would have been over. The Andy Pages, Kike Hernandez catch you talked about, the Will Smith World Series winning homer, Clayton Kershaw getting a ring. Honestly, was a basket case out in the pen. I don't know if you saw.
Yeah, he was going nuts, dude. I think he knew he was not getting in and just full emotion.
Was it? Well, was it just me or did which homer was it? Was it the? It would have had to have been the Will Smith homer where he's like, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh. Did I see him or did I not see him? I thought he made like a beeline over to the actual like bullpen mound area, or at least the general vicinity where he would have warmed up. Was he getting ready at any point?
Around. I don't know if he was getting ready.
Because I thought I saw at some point he was at the very least getting loose.
I think it felt like, and no disrespect to Kershaw, but it felt like if the Blue Jays were going to pull this off and the Dodgers were willing to lose it, it was probably with Yamamoto on the mound.
No, he did get loose. That's right. I remember he was getting loose in conjunction with Sasaki. So they were both getting hot. Well, maybe not getting hot, but at the very least getting loose.
Wow.
So I mean,
man, I didn't think Yamamoto was going to come back out.
No,
anyway, I mean, we can get into him in a minute, but I agree. I mean, and you didn't mention Vladdy,
having
Ernie Clement breaking the postseason hit record. Is that what I saw?
Was it franchise record or was it? No. I think it was entire postseason altogether. No, not Ernie Clemente. First player in baseball history with 30 hits in a single postseason. This tweet says they've only been playing the sport 150 years.
That's
crazy.
That's something else, right? And then you saw
and real quick on the Ernie Clement thing, that's such a beautiful counter to the Dodgers narrative that people love to push, and I understand why they do it. I've already seen countless, this World Series was bought, not earned. Okay, if that's the approach you want to take, so be it.
It's not going to die anytime soon.
It's not going to die anytime soon, and if that's the approach you want to take, then take it. But it's such a beautiful counter when you see a guy like Ernie Clement, of all people. Ernie Clement. Let that sink in. Ernie Clement, of all of the names
No disrespect. That's a no name coming in this World Series.
The ultimate of no disrespects.
Yeah.
The star power, the MVPs, the MVP potentials in this series. Ernie Clement's the guy to take that record. It's such a just beautiful demonstration, beautiful example of why we love this game so much.
Yeah.
Ernie Clement, you go, dude.
I mean, it's just kind of all over the place. I know we're all over the place. I'm sure you're all over the place. We just finished this freaking game. Jeff Hoffman, who had been shaky down the stretch, he re-earned the closing position. And that's kind of that, like, as a Blue Jays fan, I think you guys know that, like, that worst fear in the back of your mind of like I've seen this guy at his worst. Like, I hope he holds it down. I hope those days are behind him. And then, it is what it is. That home run can come off of anybody, but like that's tough. Sir Anthony Dominguez, like, that's a transaction that you made at the deadline. Like, there was just somewhat ran out of steam in that Blue Jay bullpen. Shane Bieber deadline acquisition, it's another tough homer. Like, I was going to ask you, did you feel like at any point tonight that, I mean, aside from the game obviously being over, did you feel as though there was any real moment in the game where you're like, they lost the game? It's only a matter of time before this game is over and they lost the game? Because I feel like even the moments like a Max Muncy homer or, like the Jeff Hoffman giving that up, it's just like, that's just baseball. I don't feel like this was a blown situation necessarily, they just handed it over kind of thing. No, I don't think so. I think it was more so, for me at least, like, if we get to play Monday morning quarterback and kind of sit back and like look at the roster as a whole, like, I understand it's game 7. I understand, going the length. I understand starters getting put in the game, but like, in reality, it's hard to say that is a better move than just having relievers that you can trust, because those are the scenarios that they're always in, right? Asking a starter at the end of his season to get you a couple out of the bullpen, not having the normal routine, not having the normal, days off. And I get it. You can sit there and say, like, they're professional athletes. They should be able to just adapt to any scenario. But pitchers are a little weird, And I think you go back to, the Red Sox World Series of like seeing Chris Sale close it down, and you're like, that had like a substantial, like, that stood out in my mind. You know what I mean? Seeing so many starting pitchers because of the lack of depth in the bullpen was interesting. And that was a different side of the game that I don't think either team going into it would prefer to be in that situation. Yamamoto is a different story. I think Yamamoto was otherworldly during this World Series, but like, to see so many other starters, to have to rely on that so much. I think both bullpens were depleted, and I don't think, the Blue Jays were right there. That they got all the way to that point, but that's the way they used their bullpen the entire postseason. It was like Schneider managed to hit the right button the whole time. And I'm not saying he even hit the wrong button. Like you said, it's just like baseball happens. But it was interesting. It was interesting to see. And like, ideally, I think when you're building a bullpen at the deadline to make a deep run into the postseason, it's hard to imagine saying we gave up a home run with, no disrespect, we gave up a home run to with Shane Bieber on the bump versus like that nails reliever that we got at the deadline. You know what I'm saying? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm being too nitpicky. And I get that it's game 7. You throw everything in the kitchen sink at it. I just think if you were to like sit back and like unplug for a second, say like, you know, is that the most ideal situation that you would want yourself to be in if you're the Blue Jays? And I don't think it is.
No, but I think in a situation like that though, I feel like you have to throw structure out the window. You have to throw,
Sure.
norm, like
I get that argument.
what guys are used to out the window, and just have to look at it as though you have to get 27 outs. And if I'm the Blue Jays, no disrespect to anybody in their pen, but I think I want to take my chances. Like, there's a reason these guys have been so good throughout their career. And to your point, it's not a normal circumstance or situation for them to be in, but I feel like I would rather go down swinging with a guy like Shane Bieber on the bump as opposed to XYZ reliever, even if they've been locked down, even if that's their normal, window of the game that they're poised for. So that's why I'll say this. I see both sides of it. I think you're right.
Yeah.
But a game 7 is like, we just don't see them all that often, and we especially don't see game 7s in the World Series all that often. So it's just I think it's tough.
I'm unbiased. It doesn't affect me either way of who would have won this thing, but I think it's just interesting to sit back and look at that and understand why GMs attack the deadline the way they do. And it was just interesting that we saw two teams with very shaky bullpens, and we saw the bullpens being, that there's no toothpaste left in that tube. You know what I'm saying? Like, we got all of it out that we could. We squeezed everything out, and we had to rely on our rotations to get us across the finish line. Like, it's interesting to pay attention to that anyway. But
I mean,
anywho's,
as a neutral fan in this particular series, I loved it. Like, seeing your big guns roll out of the pen. I'm like,
Snell coming out.
Like, I mean, just the talent that was coming through those bullpen doors tonight. Yeah. Just unbelievable. And I gotta say, speaking of a neutral fan, I gotta shout out this comment on the post that I put out tonight, where I put out one of my tweets where I said, simply put, one of the greatest game 7s you're ever gonna see. And I gotta shout out Keith Blake. This was on Facebook. This is rare. You find a quality comment on Facebook.
Yeah.
Usually it's
a lot of warriors on Facebook.
Usually it's just toxic waste. But
no disrespect.
Shout out to Keith Blake. He said, absolutely gluttonous for the neutral baseball fan. Everything and more from the whole series, and then they give us that gem.
Yeah.
And I said, couldn't have said it better.
Yeah. You had everything, dude. You had everything.
Truly. I genuinely do not think I'm being a victim of the moment here. Genuinely think you saw about everything you could see as it pertains to baseball, the game of baseball, packed into one game.
Yeah. I think that was one of the best World Series I've ever watched, and the best game 7 I've ever watched. Hands down. Because it didn't go too far. You know what I'm saying? Like, if it went like 16 innings, and I'm like, all right, like, you know what I mean? And it probably would have been excellent, but it's like, there wasn't a lull. There was no lull. It went to extra innings. It was still intense. There wasn't like this, like, oh, they went hitless for 3 innings. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
Because that game, that 18 inning game did have a lull where it was like, holy crap, someone get it out of the infield. You know what I mean? This had no lull. This had no lull. It was just excellent baseball. Let's talk our MVP, dude. And let's talk that. Where's that receipt? Where's that receipt
You've had your fair share. I'll give you credit, man. You've had your fair share of receipts this World Series.
That one felt good. I'm proud of that one. I am proud of that one.
You know what? Let me just see if I can find it on the spot here. And while I do that, why don't you tell us just about what you saw from Yoshinobu Yamamoto tonight?
Freaking guts. Just guts, dude. I mean, let's go through the lines. Let's go through the lines here. So, when did he threw game one? No. That was Ohtani. He didn't even throw game two. Oh, I'm looking at the Phillies series. That's why. What am I doing? Get it together. All right, there we go. So, game one, a little bit of a clunker from Snell. Game two, let's bounce back, right? Let's get back on the grind. Sure, we'll just throw a CG, 1 earned, 8 Ks, 4 hits. Game three, warmed up for game three, by the way. And I don't know if that's going to be talked about, but the fact that he was willing to go and warm up, and like Dave Roberts comes out and says, yeah, that was the next button being pressed, because there was no other button to press. That was the next button being pressed. After going CG, let's roll him out there for the 18-inning game. Game 6, excellent. I mean, like, I hate saying only 6 innings, but still. Was that game 6? Game 5, sorry. No, game 6.
No,
yeah,
it was game
right.
6.
Yeah.
Back-to-back nights.
Game 6, like,
Which
6 hits,
which
5 hits, 1 earned, 1 walk, 6 Ks.
Which, if you remember, and I'm about to play it, that was all that it would have taken from you to get your MVP nod.
I agree. You didn't even need this.
And then he came back out in game 7 and did this. Here's your receipt. Hold on. Let me see if this will play.
8+ strikeouts or whatever. We're going to chalk this up as one of the best pitching performances in World Series history, win or lose. I have no doubt that he will, which is
Hold
why
on.
or
Here we go.
my stock for you just shot through the roof. It did for him with that. I'm going to throw out not necessarily a prediction or maybe somewhat of a take, but just a receipt, a safety receipt, if you will, just in case we need to go back on this. If Yamamoto goes out strong Friday, I'll say if Yamamoto goes 7+ and the Dodgers come back and win this thing, he's my MVP. He's been unbelievable.
I mean, you're
Went 6.
yeah, but then he gives you what? He gives you what
I think
tonight?
He's 2 1/3, 2 2/3, something like that tonight.
Unbelievable, man. Like, that's stuff that
Incredible.
legends are made of. What Yoshinobu Yamamoto did, that's stuff that legends are made out of. And honestly, what was going through my mind really for the games that he was in, I'm sitting there thinking, I think people need to remember, this is a guy that operated on 6 days of rest typically. And look, I know that people are going to, well, the classic, they're professional athletes. They get paid millions of dollars to play a kid's game. I know. But even more so, we're talking about a guy that typically required for much of his career has required another day of rest. And you can call it soft, you can call it whatever. That's just been his MO. That's been the way that he's played the game. That's the way that he's developed as a pitcher.
Yeah.
So you take that into account. And the fact that he came out the literal next night after going 6 in game 6, and that was only how many days after the CG? I mean, just like, what else can you do but tip your cap, man? That's what a series.
So game 6 was last night, Friday, right?
Yeah.
And he threw.
I'm losing track of my days.
Game 2
And also, we just moved.
was on Saturday. So, I mean, it's 5-day rest, normal rest, but still, it's the fact that I think it's just I don't know, man. I think there's a lot of competitors out there that are like, yeah, give me the ball. I'm willing to go the next day. I think we still talk about CeCe and his performance with Milwaukee when he got traded over there. Like it's that willingness to like give me the ball, but we saw it. It wasn't like a verbal thing. It wasn't like Dave Roberts saying, "Oh, Yamamoto came to me and we were willing to do." He was in the bullpen getting hot. He was ready to roll the very next day after throwing a CG. And then again, goes 6. How many pitches did he throw on Friday? Load, man. 96 pitches. 96 pitches.
Crazy, man. The highs and lows of this game we love. Like you and I are sort of all over the place here now, but I'm looking right now at I was trying to get the final line for Vladdy for this postseason. And I'm just seeing the most gut wrenching. Like oh man, this dude was torn up. But 18 games for Vladdy this postseason, /397, 494, 795, 8 homers, 15 RBIs, 13 extra base hits, 29 hits in all.
Even that, what inning was that? That double that he hit down the line?
And on the hands. Oh,
just
yeah.
Pulling the hands in, barreling just enough to get it down the line. Like that.
Second.
The diving play at first base.
Oh, my goodness.
I think it was foul, but like still, like that catch, it was just,
I gotta say,
he earned a lot of respect for me. I've been wondering where's the movie, if you will. I know we're tired of that, but the paycheck was making me wonder. We didn't see like a truly like, wow, $400 million, whatever. What was his final? $500 million regular season. I didn't see it out of him, but he basically put up like one of the best postseasons I've ever seen. I don't think that's an exaggeration.
No, again, not hyperbole. I have to say, I think we saw Vladdy Jr. mature before our eyes in this World Series alone. Like, I feel like I saw a guy that was willing. I hate using this analogy, but I feel like we saw a guy that was willing to go to war for the guys in that clubhouse. And he backed it up. Like, he showed up. This isn't a guy that just collected his paycheck and was like, I'm cool with this. If we get a ring in the process, so be it, but I'm chilling. No, this was a guy that made it very abundantly clear that he was going to do everything that was within his power to help bring a World Series back to Toronto. And they fell again. And I'm not pinning this on one play or one moment, but when you look at it as closely under the microscope as you can, they were 2 inches away from winning the World Series.
So close,
I mean, that is literally as close as you can get to winning the World Series without winning it.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable.
Real quick, while I'm thinking of it, talking about fantastic performances, I do not want to conclude this episode without mentioning Louis Varland. I know I mentioned it in our fantasy group chat. That dude is a dog. And whether or not, he had a legendary postseason or a mediocre postseason, to me, that's not important. To me, what was most impressive about what he did in setting the record for most appearances in a postseason was the simple fact that he took the ball. Like this wasn't a guy that was like, Skip, I can't.
Well too.
I can't. Yeah, he did well. But it was not a situation of him being like, Skip, I just can't go tonight. Like, I'm giving you everything I can, but I just need. Like, he took the ball in all but one postseason game for the Blue Jays. That's insane. And I'll be the first guy to get on relievers and be like, come on, we can go 2 days in a row. Like, I understand it's max velocity for a lot of these guys, but like, let's be so serious right now. You guys can go more. We can go consecutive days.
Yeah.
And he went all but one game.
Month. the whole month.
He went the whole month of October.
Yeah.
Just crazy. So I gotta tip my cap there to Louis Varland.
Yeah.
Definitely, they didn't lose this series
stuff.
because of one guy, but they most certainly did not lose it because of Louis Varland. I'll say that.
Yeah. What else we got, man? I mean,
that Bo Bichette homer.
Yeah.
Going back to earlier in the game, that I wanted so badly for that to be his moment. And it was. And I saw some people going back and forth in the comments being like, that you win or lose, that does not take away from this moment. He's going to remember that for the rest of his life. Surely he's going to look back on it a little differently given the outcome. But man, for a guy, him and George Springer, which I don't think we've necessarily mentioned yet, regarding just battling this series.
Yeah, he had some stuff going.
Major respect, mad props to both of those guys.
Sorry, I wanted to watch the Bo Bichette home run again because that was a good pimp job too.
Oh, the bat drop, so clean, so clean.
Possibly his last big Blue Jays moment.
I wanted so badly for that to be his.
If you're new, by the way, we will be getting into a full season recap, and we will be getting into everything throughout the whole off season. So we're not going anywhere, by the way.
Great plug.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Just like I'm just going through. I created a list of things that I wanted to make sure we covered. I know we mentioned it briefly, but Miguel Rojas, the Dodgers,
ninth.
The Dodgers simply do not win this World Series without Miguel Rojas. As simple as that.
No.
Which coming into this World Series would have been the last thing that I thought I'd be saying.
Yeah. That's the
beautiful thing about this game that we love. Miguel Rojas and Ernie Clement being two key pivotal figures in this World Series.
Yeah. Crazy, man. Crazy. Great stuff. Great World Series. And I know going back it's obviously easy to say now, but we were absolutely spot on by saying that the Blue Jays were going to give the Dodgers a better run than what the Mariners could have done. No disrespect to the Mariners, but I just don't think we would have gotten this World Series. This was absolutely excellent.
I think of the four LCS teams, this was going to be your best bang for your buck, without a doubt. And I don't think I need to explain why or state my case. I think you saw that tonight in Game 7 and for the duration of this entire World Series.
I have a newfound respect for the Blue Jays. I have a newfound respect. Because again, they played the last 3+ months incredible baseball. Excellent baseball.
It's so refreshing to see, and not to, beat a dead horse, but it's just so refreshing to see two teams willing. Go ahead and say what you want about paying for World Series, paying to be in the dance.
Mm-hmm.
Let's not forget the Blue Jays are top 5 in payroll as well.
Yeah.
But it's so refreshing to see two teams that are willing to do what it takes to take the necessary measures to give themselves the best chance to win a World Series. And it took every last game to make it happen, but it was just so refreshing to watch that. And I gave you a Yankee card this episode to drop a little Yankees reference in. I'm going to make a Red Sox reference here if you'll allow it. We're sitting here watching this World Series unfold. And meanwhile, I'm hearing about how the Red Sox are already talking about how they're not going to be able to afford X, Y, and Z player this offseason, and that we really need to temper our expectations. So that's the kind of stuff that us fans, us fans that didn't have a dog in this fight. That's what we get to go back to now in the gloomy days of the offseason. But yeah, man, we could go on and on about how great this series was. This is,
by the way, if DVDs were still a thing, this would be a DVD that I would purchase and watch again. If I was a Dodger fan, I'd be like, I'm buying this DVD, bro, because I could watch it. It's like, this is the greatest first season of a show I've ever seen. I would watch that show over and over again.
Yeah. Petition to bring back the World Series DVDs.
I'm in on that. No way. Where do we plug them in? I don't know where do we put them into? The
consoles.
Yeah.
I think the PlayStations, the Xboxes, maybe. they'll still pump out.
Do get the PS2. By the way, again, if you're new, this isn't the normal setup. It'll get better behind me. The backdrop will look less like a storage closet.
He moved into his new office digs.
Yeah, it'll change soon.
It'll change soon for Clayton Kershaw. I know we mentioned that. New chapter of life he's about to embark upon, but great to see that moment.
Great ending.
Great to see it wrap up for him this way.
Great World Series moment. Important World Series moment. Not a forced World Series moment. You know what I mean?
Could you imagine if he had been brought in to close that thing out?
That would have been. I don't know if he would have got through it, but that would have been insane. If it was a little more of a laugher.
Another receipt you had, though. You had. Hold on. I got the quote. It was. You're talking about Kershaw. You're talking specifically about Dave Roberts.
Yeah.
But you said, where is it? You said Dave Roberts can't help but pay attention to narratives as it relates to Clayton Kershaw. And you were basically just like, I don't think he'll be able to help himself if presented with the right opportunity. And he was real close.
Yeah.
Real close.
There. Yeah. By the way, I guess, kind of my closing thoughts on it. I think we've been hard on Dave Roberts in the past for, I think, valid reasons. I thought he did a really, really good job managing this World Series.
I agree.
Can't really think of too many instances where I disagreed.
And look, I feel like we've had this conversation before, but it's easy to look at Dave Roberts and be like, how hard could it be to manage that team? But as much on the flip side, there's a lot of pressure there.
Yeah.
Because if you don't do what he's done the last 2 years, there's people calling for your job.
Yeah.
So, again, you can look at Dave Roberts' situation and be like, he's got Ohtani, Yamamoto, Freeman, Betts. The list goes on and on. How hard could it really be? Well, if you fall short with that roster, good luck to you. But yeah, man, kind of wrapping it up here with the Will Smith homer. Even when that happened, I genuinely thought, I told Meredith when how did they tie it up? The Miguel Rojas homer. When Miguel Rojas tied it up,
Yeah.
I said the Blue Jays are still going to win this game. And before I could even explain why, she was like, this home field advantage is just going to be too much, like for the Dodgers. And I said, yeah, like this play. And my quote exactly was, the Rogers Center is a gunpowder keg waiting to explode. And we came so close to it.
Yeah.
But then when Will Smith decided to show up to fulfill the Will Smith prophecy,
Oh my gosh, it's never ending.
it lives on.
Yeah. Someone needs to add the reliever Will Smith to a coaching staff somewhere. Just in case.
Just in case.
Yeah.
And if the team he gets added to, the staff he gets added to, is out of it by the All-Star break, can we somehow maybe trade?
Yeah, trade a coach.
Oh, trade
I'd
a coach.
Like to see that. I'd like to see
to
that.
a contender.
Yeah.
No, man, but awesome moment for Will Smith. Awesome way to wrap this thing up, man. What a game, what a series.
And our last, our new most recent repeat World Series winner. Haven't seen it in 25 years.
Back
Pretty
to
impressive.
back, man.
Tell me our game is scripted. Go ahead and try to tell me. Can't. It ain't.
That's, again, to go back to the 2 inches thing, we were 2 inches away from the Dodgers not being able to, quote, ruin baseball. And I get it that they won, but like that shows you how much of a game of inches that this sport can be and is. People are saying, well, Dodgers are just going to buy their way to another trophy, to another World Series trophy. 2 inches.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Excellent stuff. Well, what do we got? We're probably gonna take a mini break, right? Like
Take a little breather.
Yeah.
We'll
And
play it.
then
We'll play it by ear.
have to get maybe some kind of recap. I like the idea of touching on our hot takes episode.
Yeah, we did that
early
last year. I like
March.
that.
Yeah.
I like
And
that.
Just kind of go back and reflect to see how much things have changed or how wrong or correct we were, which is rare. But yeah, and then like I said, if you're new, we're gonna keep this thing rolling all off season. I'm not entirely sure what it's gonna look like or what days, but we don't go anywhere. We're gonna stay with it. We have a ton of managerial changes to cover already. We have a lot to go over. So, and then before you know it, it's going to be winter meetings and transactions are going to be happening, trades and free agent signings. So we'll be here the whole off season. If you don't watch, I recommend it. YouTube is something we're trying to build. So if you want to hit us up on that, hit some subscribe. And we're going to do some fun stuff. We're going to shake things up slightly in this off season. We're going to do a lot of new and fun things, and hope you hop on.
Another season in the books, my friend.
Another season in the books, man. This is season 7 for us.
Season 7.
You know, it's crazy. I moved to Arizona yesterday, 8 years ago yesterday.
Did you really?
I moved to Arizona. Yeah. Isn't that nuts? Flown by. I had hair back then.
A A lot has changed in the time we've been doing this, but it's been a pleasure.
Yeah, man.
But no, you're right. If you're new and you're wondering what happens once the offseason hits, it's more of the same. We will be here. We'll be talking ball. We'll be talking a lot of non-ball stuff too. We like to get weird in the offseason.
Yeah.
Frankly, that's when
We do get weird.
That's when some of our best sides come out, our best material, best content. I hate to say it, that it has to be the off season, but it's
fun.
We set the bar high for the off season. It gets fun. It gets weird.
Well, sprinkle of non-baseball stuff too. So
that's what I'm saying. Yeah, we talk ball. We talk a lot of non-ball stuff. But yeah, we're looking forward to it. Appreciate all of you who have stuck around with us for the duration of the season. Even those of you that maybe joined on a little late, maybe even those of you that just tacked on for the postseason. Maybe those of you that tacked on for even just the World Series. Maybe those of you that even just discovered us for Game 7 because you're like, I love this baseball thing. Where can I get more of it?
You're welcome in. I love you. I'm going to cradle you. I'm going to hold you tight. I got to work on that.
Beautifully said.
Yeah.
Beautifully said.
That's it, guy.
That's it, man. Another season in the books. Like I said, we'll play it by ear. It's always hard to tell how we bounce back from a World Series finale. Sometimes we take a little bit of a breather. Sometimes we just jump right into a recap and kind of get things rolling there. But we'll be back nonetheless. But other than that, that's all I got.
Don't go chasing curveballs.
We love you all, and as always, looking forward to talking more baseball with you guys soon. Until next time, stay filthy.